going on, y'all? Back with another one. Get straight to the point. Have to ask, have you guys ever had that moment of stillness, that moment of realization of just, sitting with yourself by yourself and just having that thought like, who am I? The name that you've been identified as in this world, is that really who I am? You start having this moment, this epiphany of just like, is this who I really am? This is me, huh? Like, this being that I am. And I just began to realize, as I start going in this journey, it's your higher self. It's God, you, that's trying to wake you up to this false identification that you've presented yourself, or that the world's presented for you, as you've grown up. And it's crazy. I know if every individual's had this at least one time. I've asked many people, and they've all had that moment before, And that's the wake-up call, that yourself, that God, you, is trying to get you out of that mentality of having this ego, identifying as your ego, being that person that you think you are, but you're more than that. And this clarity starts building out. Sometimes, I was a young cat when I first had that moment's realization, but you just brush it off, not really thinking, you're living in the moment, But as you get older, you start, getting to that, trying to get to that answer of who you really are. I think some people will feel like it's emptiness, when you finally wake up or be awakened. You look around you and everyone else is just living their lives. And you start seeing people enjoying every moment, enjoying all the things, entertainment, all the distractions that you have. And you look at yourself at moments and you're just like, man, I can't even enjoy this anymore the way I used to, like how other people are. And you start feeling like you're by yourself and you're alone with all of it. But there's many people around the world that are going through what you're going through, and I'm a part of that statistic. And I'm proud to be. At moments of anxiety and depression, sometimes, the lack of faith, the lack of security within yourself, you have this anxiety and depression, feeling lost and alone and feeling like you're not normal, but that's far from the truth. And I'm here to tell you that you are God. And it's crazy because we've been given this dogma that if we even say or consider that we're just speaking heresy and we're speaking blasphemy, that we are the devil or we're Satan or whatever when we say we are God, But you could tell that tactic. Sorry about that. I live by, I work by the National Guard. You hear some planes, but anyways, sorry that cut me off a little. But like I said, the church has been used as a weapon against us, not to help us. It's like they're gatekeepers to certain knowledge that we all deserve to know, and we will, especially in this day and age. There's no stopping this enlightenment. It's gonna keep going. I just like that I'm now able to align myself to be able to contribute and to say certain things. I'm still working on it, still working on how to communicate, how to say the things that are in my mind a lot better. Because man, I tell you, the thoughts that come, they don't sound as good as when they're getting expressed now. But let's start walking. I need to walk. But I've been so caught up sometimes, even beginning to make these YouTube videos, I've been falling short into I even made a video about it, about external validation. I get caught up in looking at, hey, maybe did I get some views, and I get caught up in this, like, trying to see results in what I do, when I should just be the right thing to do is to let go and just do what you do. Don't worry about what's, I like, we all fall short, but I like to know, like, hey, my speech, my words, my talking is getting to people. But it's like, you know what, if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. At the end of the day, we're all doing this for ourselves, and obviously if we're doing it for ourselves and we are all connected, we're not separated, this illusion that I've talked about in my previous videos, that illusion of separation from God and separation from everyone else. If we love ourselves and we're doing it for ourselves, we are doing it for other people too, because we are all one, so that's one thing that I've thought, just to look at it in a better perspective, because we all have different perspectives in life, and how can one perspective tell the other perspective they're wrong? You know what I mean? And that's where I think this religion or opinions, politics, politicians, all this is all created to be this illusion of separation, when everyone has their own experience in life. And how can we say we're wrong? Someone may look at a certain group of people and don't really care for them, or have some sort of tension with them due to experience. Who knows? We all have our different ways of learning, and that's what makes us God, because we're all in this same world with different perspectives, different experiences, yet we still have the same feeling. We still can feel hot temperature, we could still feel cold temperature, we could still feel anxiety, we still feel depression, but yet we all have our different perspectives on it. Some may think anxiety is punishment to them for maybe the past karmic things they've done, or anything that they, and some other person can look at anxiety like God trying to get their attention, so like everyone could look at depression, anxiety, many other factors too, in a different way. And it's like, how could you say they're wrong? And that's what we've been conditioned to think. Like, if someone's perspective on a certain thing doesn't align with your perspective, they're automatically wrong. It's like, no, they just had a different experience, and when we start realizing that in that matter, instead of thinking everyone's wrong because it doesn't align with your experience, then you start to look into other people and actually have this, this remorse, You start looking like, hey, you know what? He's right. He's speaking facts, because it's his experience. And when we get that, we bring unification. It's like agree to disagree form. And if we do that around the world, I'm sure this world would be a much better place. At one point I used to think that the world around us could never be, good, or it can never be unified. But that's far from the truth. You see how even your own perspectives can get tarnished and destroyed into another perspective, and that's just point of higher elevating your consciousness, of just accepting and understanding, and it's a breakthrough. As you go onto this journey, you just learn and you level up and start understanding certain things. And you're gonna fall short. You're gonna fall short into certain things that you're not supposed to be falling short, but that's the part of the game. You're supposed to rewire. It takes a lifelong journey, to get to a certain state of consciousness. That's the part of the game, and people will get there farther than others. People may get not too far in this journey. Some others may exceed, some may not. It's just the way it goes. But I'm sure people watching this, and I'm sure you're going through levels, and you're starting to understand the world. And I'm still getting that. I used to have that ego with me, stuck with me with information, thinking that I know, like always focused on being aware, but being aware of me thinking like, oh yeah, I know more than a lot of people around me. It's like, dude, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? This information is for everyone. It's not, that whole chosen one thing too. That like, I'm the chosen one, I'm this. It's a good perspective, but it's if you fall short into that ego, you could easily find yourself in a deep egotistical state where you think you're chosen out of a million, but it's like, no, you just chose to awaken yourself, and everyone else could choose too. But yeah, that's where you got to get humbled. You got to start understanding like everyone has the chance to get this level of understanding, and some people have, or all people have it, but only a few will choose it. And then that's what makes you different than others, but yet we're still all the same. It's a very complex understanding, but that's the truth. And yeah, I'm just here to speak another message and to tell you guys that once again, you guys are God. You guys have judgment. You have all the experiences that we're all experiencing right now. And yeah, you look inside and you'll figure it out. But it's a lifelong journey, and we're still going, we're still leveling up. There's people who have exceeded and accomplished what they needed to do, and there's some who are still on the move, and I'm a part of that. Got to keep moving. And I hope you guys are, every day learning something, destroying the ego, destroying a certain perspective that's ignorant, and start walking that path. There's going to be some stumbles, but hey, as long as you know where the path is headed, as long as you know where you're going, that's all that matters. But yeah, guys, I'm going to call it on this one. And I hope you guys have a great one. You are going to overcome what you want to overcome. And you're going to get there, wherever your destination leads you, wherever you want to lead yourself, wherever you want to get. You are complete inside. Just must reveal it within. It's not outside. There's nothing to be looking outside for to get to where you want. It's all inside. It's there already. Just go find it. But all right then, guys. Catch you guys on the other one.